Straight ahead at noon, remembering the lives of 5 people killed near Forest Grove as investigators break down the timeline that led up to the murders. Plus, Meta agrees to pay billions to settle a lawsuit over youth social media addiction. How much Oregon is getting. And then later, the new legal challenge to try and stop President Trump's efforts to restrict mail-in voting, just days after the Supreme Court struck down a similar effort. Okay, we want to get right to breaking news out of Estacada, where some people are being evacuated because of a hazardous material. Firefighters say a 55-gallon barrel with a volatile chemical is expanding and venting. Now, this is happening off Veterans Boulevard near River Mill Road. Initially, people within a half-mile radius were told to leave their homes, but firefighters say after checking out the scene, they reduced evacuations to just those within 150 feet of the site. Hazmat teams from Gresham and Clackamas Fire are on scene to help, but so far have not said exactly what that chemical is. We will keep you updated as we learn more. And to more breaking news, where Portland Fire and the Port of Portland are battling multiple brush fires and a car fire along Northeast Marine Drive that's near the airport. Traffic is being blocked on both directions from Northeast 122nd to 33rd. These photos here from Portland Fire show the fire appears to mostly be knocked down, with crews patrolling for hot spots now. But as of now, they believe the car fire started first and dropped embers along the road, starting the brush fire. And we're told that traffic should reopen shortly. All right, now to our top story here at noon. Friends called her pure magic. We are learning more about the 5 people killed near Forest Grove over the weekend. Thank you for joining us. I'm Blair Best. In an update, investigators walked us through what led up to this homicide, and Catherine Cook caught up with those who loved one of the victims.
The way she walked through this world was pure magic.
Laura Richards is thinking of her friend, Rowan Kimsey. For 7 years, they shared this salon space in Southeast Portland's Montevilla neighborhood. Laura, a hairstylist, Rowan, a tattoo artist. Rowan even painted this merman.
And it's just kind of become a staple of Montevilla.
Now it's a tribute to Rowan, one of 5 people murdered near Forest Grove last weekend.
In my opinion, if you were lucky enough to be in her orbit, your life was always for the better.
Washington County Sheriff's investigators say Rowan was the mother of 26-year-old Stella Kimsey, who was the first person murdered on the family's property, shot to death, they say, by Stella's boyfriend, 36-year-old Benjamin Parker. Investigators say the couple had had a big fight Friday night.
And Stella told him he had to leave.
When Rowan went to check on Stella, they say Parker shot and killed her. Detectives say later Stella's best friend, Lindsay Haraldson, Haraldson's partner, Alvin Chu, and Stella's grandmother, Mary Kimsey, also showed up to check on the family. Investigators say Parker shot and killed all of them before killing several pets and setting the property on fire.
Mary had previously told her friend that Mr. Parker would argue with Stella and could get very upset. She also shared that he had a mental health evaluation, which diagnosed him with bipolar disorder.
Investigators say Parker drove to Enumclaw, Washington, near Tacoma, where on Sunday he died by suicide. Detectives said Parker called his mom to confess. His father, Gary Rogers, shared this photograph of his son and this message. Please let your viewers know how immensely sorry I am for the heinous acts committed by my son. You can imagine it's tearing me up inside. As for Rowan Kimsey,
She just took care of people.
Laura says it makes sense that the last thing she did in this world
They were tight.
was try to protect and care for her family.
They showed up for each other in any situation.
Investigators say they're now waiting for toxicology reports on Benjamin Parker. They also shared a message from one Kimsey family member who asked for compassion for Parker's family. And finally, investigators say surviving livestock on the farm have been moved into other homes, something loved ones say Rowan would have wanted. All right, a reminder, if you or someone you know is a domestic violence survivor, know that help is available 24/7. And one place to start is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That number is on your screen. It's 800-799-7233. Well, flags across Oregon and the rest of the nation have been lowered to half staff today in honor of country music legend Dolly Parton, who died yesterday at the age of 80. Parton's team confirmed she died peacefully, surrounded by loved ones in a Nashville hospital after what they called a brief battle with cancer. Parton had been out of the public eye for months, saying she was focusing on her health and well-being. During her decades-long career, Parton wrote and recorded hundreds of songs, including classics like Jolene, I Will Always Love You, and of course, Eugene, Oregon. She was also a philanthropist and a successful businesswoman. Nashville's Grand Ole Opry plans to host a formal tribute to Dolly on Saturday, with a number of artists set to perform. All right, in an update, Oregon is set to receive more than $125 million as part of a settlement with tech giant Meta over teen social media addiction. This morning, the Facebook and Instagram parent company agreed to pay $16.7 billion to end a landmark lawsuit brought by 29 states, including Oregon and Washington. The states accused Meta of contributing to the youth mental health crisis by designing features that keeps kids hooked on social media.
This is one of the largest consumer protection settlements in American history. It's huge. And at its heart, it's an incredibly simple value that I think all of us as parents can understand. Our children are not a business model.
Meta also agreed to implement some robust user protections, such as limiting how much time kids and teens can spend on its platforms. You can learn more about those restrictions. Just find this story, which is up now on KGW.com. All right, let's step outside. Looking beautiful out there today. Chris McGinnis is in the Weather Center. So Chris, what are you tracking for us?
We are clearing out after the morning cloud cover that we thought would work its way into the Willamette Valley. It has, and now it's working its way out quickly. That's what our visible satellite imagery here shows over the last few frames. Morning clouds, and then poof, they're gone. You can also see some of the wildfire smoke burning because of the Austin fire here in Clackamas County, and that has filled some of those valleys up in the Cascade foothills. The prevailing wind, though, generally now more westerly, and so that will keep wildfire smoke generally along and east the Cascades throughout the rest of today and really for the days ahead. Looking live, again, we are much more clear. There's not that wildfire haze in the distance that we could see yesterday from this vantage point of our Wells Fargo sky camera. Currently 70 degrees at the airport. It's 69 in downtown and a little cooler than yesterday at this time, and that's what this map is showing us. Hillsboro, 9 degrees cooler right now than yesterday. At lunchtime, 70 degrees cooler here in Portland and 9 degrees cooler in Salem as well. So after a couple of days in the 90s, remember we were 93 on Tuesday, 93 on Monday, 90 yesterday. We probably keep it in the lower 80s today, so a little more comfortable. Currently sitting at 70 degrees at Pearson Airfield in Vancouver, 67 in Salem, and Aurora sits at 66 degrees. The plan for the remainder of our Wednesday, lots of sunshine, temperatures inching into the upper 70s by 2 o'clock, and I have us topping out right around 82 at 5 o'clock before we slowly ease. And as we mentioned yesterday, our last 8 o'clock sunset was yesterday, so today we've got the moon on the 8 p.m. graphic. It'll be mostly clear and quite mild, with temperatures in the upper 70s. Back to you.
Okay, Chris, thanks. Well, thousands of students are back in the classroom today. Today marks the first day of school for most students at Portland Public Schools, and Mo Hyder takes us to Rosa Parks Elementary.
Here at Rosa Parks Elementary, class is officially back in session, and the school literally went the extra mile for their students. They were greeted by Superintendent Dr. Kimberly Armstrong, as well as their new principal. They started with a walk from McCoy Park, where students got to enjoy some music along the way. Dr. Armstrong started her day here. She then visited Robert Gray Middle School. Her first day tour wrapped up at Ainsworth Elementary, visiting first and second grade classrooms. The new school year starts after the district faced a challenging budget process earlier this year amid a $50 million budget shortfall. Portland Public Schools approved cuts that eliminated more than 300 positions, with 87 teachers getting layoff notices.
Last year was a tough year. When we think of our budget deficit, the reductions, the layoffs, those are really hard things to do. This year will be even harder, as we're looking at upwards of $65 million in reductions, perhaps another year in layoffs. And then we also need to have some work we will be doing work to consolidate and right size our schools. And so that's all in front of us over the next 4 to 5 months.
District leaders do say a decline in enrollments as well as inflation rates have made the budget process a little more difficult. They did, however, say they've reached an agreement with the teachers union for a 2% raise that's expected to take effect in January. Mo Hyder, KGW News.
Okay, and here are some of the other districts welcoming back students today. We've got Woodland, Longview, and Kelso School, along with Centerville and Skamania, just to name a few. Welcome back, everyone.